I couldn't fit my because I was really huge, right? Like we were ripped. I don't know what it is about that era, but we were naturally really ripped. And I remember wearing this, at Gianfranco Ferre's office, and I just put the thing in, and I couldn't fit it in. And I heard someone went, and I was so embarrassed. Like, I felt so ashamed. Guess what he did? He walked over and he ripped off the sleeves, ripped off the other sleeve, and he put my hand right through. His focus was the body. And that made me I was, first of all, I felt so bad. I thought, why is he doing that? But that's the way he worked, because he really wanted me in the show. Some of these guys love that physicality. So that physicality was also a mega blessing. And it showed that for them, it's the fact that you of all people take the time out to train, to work out, to come with this package. I applaud you, and I'm gonna make something that's gonna fit you,
right?
To fit my show.
Honor your body.
Yes,
and that's what Jean Paul did for me. My first show was tattoos and piercings. Okay, I had one tattoo on my back. One. All right. Now I'm a little bit too much, but not a little bit too much. Anyway, and so boom, I go in the back, and they had this stretchy type of, I don't know what kind of material it was. It was stretchy. And if you see my first show, if you saw the picture, I'm standing with Leticia Costa and Jenny Shimizu. It was that show. Amazing show. And so I was in a sarong. I had a G-string on. Yeah, thank you to say those words, because, hey, to all you ladies that's going to hear this, men should never wear a G-string. It's all over the place, if you know what I mean. And it was so uncomfortable.
God bless you.
Hey, I found ladies that could wear a G-string, because it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And so, boom, I go out there. My first show, it had Naomi Campbell, of course. It had all these top models, Nadia Arman, had everybody in this show. And I was blessed to be able to be in the show. So I'm walking, I wasn't nervous. I'm not nervous to walk. And that never bothered me. I came from playing in front of 25,000 people. So being in a show, but I had to honor and respect this is a different format.
Yes.
And look,
absolutely different format.
My shoulders were huge, but where I had to walk was like this. So I'm trying to walk, and I walk wide-legged, And as I came around the corner, I hear people, who is that? Who's this person? And I could hear that. I'm just walking. And so the first pass, all the way straight down, is your first collage of photographers. So as you're coming towards them, you stop, whatever you're going to do. Then you make, in that case, you made your right. And you keep going that way, another collage of photographers. And so as I'm doing my pass, and I couldn't really walk fast because the sarong was so tight, and I couldn't move my legs, so I'm walking slow. Behind me, I hear this woman's voice. Excuse my language. Can I say something?
Yeah, you can.
This voice said, "Hurry the fuck up."
Ouch.
And I as I turned around, hey, Brandy Quijones, I love you. That was Brandy.
Wow.
Yeah, Brandy said, "Hurry the fuck up," because she was like right behind me. I was holding up the show. I couldn't walk.
Love
it. When I got backstage, I cracked up laughing. It was so funny. And me and her became the best of friends. She's cool people.
But that's what it's about,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Those bits and pieces.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. And man,
that's the highlights. All right, go ahead.
The next day, my career blew up. For two months, I was shooting with Paula Rivesi. I was shooting with Pamela Henderson.
Yes.
I was shooting.
And that's where I'm so glad that you came to this conclusion, because that's what motivated us. My boy, I always call him my cousin, Ralph. Ralph, he's like, yeah. Ralph was like, Ralph is like, that brother is killing it. He opened the doors for us, bro. I'm like, you did. Because when you did that, you really, because you were all over the page Fashion Week, right? And for us who knew your basketball side, we were happy because we always felt, and this is an homage to guys like you and a lot of basketball players, and people don't know basketball sport is no different from film and television. The casting couch, the process that people got to go through. A lot of people get injured, they get left on the wayside, but we were more happy for you because here is a brother who's come all the way from the States, and he gets to see another side of life, and we hope he stays and enjoy Paris and, hey, find himself a lovely partner and live we call it the Cinderella romantic life, and we don't mean it in the spiritual Cinderella romantic life means you don't have to grow and die where you live. Look at me and you. We're not where we are. I mean, I'm in Oslo. You were in Paris. I mean, we've lived all over the world. I could have lived in Japan. I could easily live in Wuhan, in China, because of our way of work. There is a pocket in the fashion industry. So I think for you, it was an homage. It was like, man, this brother is killing it. So there was a lot of us rooting for you simply because of the fact that we knew your background. Okay, Chicago Bull ain't taking him. You know what I mean? Nobody in Europe is going to take him. You know, and that world is very tough. And people don't know sports is a tough world. That's endless brothers play basketball in America. Endless talent. It's so sickening that you see people, they're so good, they tell you, no, I don't do that for a living, man. I'm a banker. I ain't got time for that. I just play to, and you go, oh, wow. So basketball, sports is like martial arts for people like myself and boxing because, you know, I come from an environment where there's not a lot of basketball players or NFL. So what do you take? You take the classic martial art, you take the classic boxing. Even Ralph, as you know, as you speak right now, he's coaching some of the biggest stars in the world how to box. So for us, for you at that time, we were celebrating you. You made us proud. You understand? To open Gautier and shut down Gautier and take it away from all. No, but hold on. To take it away from all the top females that usually would take his show up in Paris. Usually it's all about the females. Then you come along. Vladimir McCrary comes along, and everybody's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" So for us, and that's one of the highlights of me getting you on, and I'm very grateful to hear this because I think it's important, and the likes of my wife say people really need to know that it's not a cakewalk. The fashion industry is just as tough as basketball, just as tough as music. It's the same thing because you always have those middlemen, those middle people, and some of them are the nicest people you would ever meet, and some of them are the ones you do not want to be caught in a dark alley with them. You're either going to do something to them that you would regret, or they will do something to you that you would regret. So it's like that in life, period. You understand?
Let me touch on that, Oris, please.
You know,
Thank you, bro. I love you guys, man.
yeah.
And I never looked at myself like that because you know what? I've always been a so-called leader with my mouth closed. I don't look at myself as leading people. I lead me, and I don't want anybody to follow me. Walk with me, make me stronger as I make you stronger, right next to me. But the flip side of that coin, like Robert De Niro said to Al Pacino in the movie, there's a flip side of that coin. This hoopla of success, this new person on the scene, it comes with a lot of legitimate, great job. It comes with a lot of two-faced snakes, but then it comes with some demons as well. And those demons are in the guise of the agency themselves. Those demons are in the guise of good friends that want to get close. You know how it works. They want to get close to you, to learn about you, and then be the dirtiest person in the world. It comes in the guise of beautiful women wanting to know you. And being a fool, which I was, you get involved with that. I met people that because of my own ignorance, a pretty face, you get involved, and next thing you know, they want to destroy you. Or they want to say something negative. So what this business taught me personally, I can't speak for you or anybody else, but you as well because you're pretty. What this business taught me, bro, is the fact that, hey, Nobody wants to be alone, but I am alone. I'm alone. I've had people in my life that I love dearly, always love dearly, but then they might be against me. They might say, when I got something good going on, well, who do you think you are? You this, you that. And I never understood why a person that says I love you would try to hurt you. But depression came into effect, and I want to talk about depression. Uh, when you're not doing what you want to do, when you're not achieving, when you're not going forward, people can fall into that darkness, man. And a lot of people can't get out. I knew guys, in the fashion business, mega huge, but they were dying. They were killing themselves with drug. They were carving on themselves with knives. And I used to say, hey, listen, that's hard to approach someone and talk about their mindset. But people that knew me, bro, they knew that Vladimir was a stand-up guy. Still is. What's going on? I pulled him to the side, guys and girls. You know, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my language. What's going on? Let's go talk. Hey, fuck this show. We need to get you right. Because all those people, those thousands of people out there that's going to look you up and down, those are the same people that put you in the position that you are. Forget this. What's going on? So listen, let's walk and do what we do. We need to honor our contract. That's what men do. We honor ourselves by honoring what we say we're going to do. Women too. So let's get this out the way. Let's get this business out the way, and let's talk about you. And what I used to do, man, is let these guys know and let these women know. You think Vladimir's a star? What the? Like you said earlier, I despise. I don't like the word hate. I despise deeply that word. Stars do three things. They sit up there and they shine. They're there, then they shoot across the sky, never to be seen again, or they fucking explode. I don't want to be a star. Let me be a stone. A stone you can keep in your hand and feel. A stone you can know, this is what I come from because this is what I am. Strong. That's what's important. All of this stuff in the universe, God's in the universe. I'm God's star here on this planet. In other words, I'm his stone with the love of Mother Nature as well. So that's got to be a happy medium. But I told people need to stop trying to be anything. Be yourself. You must, and that's like the catchphrase for all kinds of different T-shirts and this and that. Be you, be yourself. You have to be, And the world that you and me grew up in, man. I used to in front of the camera, and you know how that goes. We create this entity. We create this personage. We create from the clothing, whatever. We create, but some people become big with this fakeness that they've created in front of these cameras. And when those cameras are gone, who are you? That's where they're lost. And that's where depression comes from. People don't know how to turn off that fakeness and be themselves because to a lot of people, to themselves, they're nobody without those cameras. No.
And I believe relationships are very, very important in people's lives.
Oof.
When you are in that place, it's I would say this. I've always done my best during that era to date the opposite, or to be around, make sure my surroundings are with real people. You know what I mean? People that because we can't do it alone. And this is in any business, even this is for artists. That's because you and I know, and it's funny, you touch on a lot of people who took their lives. Some very, 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 very renowned, um, let me just use the word high paid individuals went up to the mountaintop and just ended their life in a cabin by themselves. And so it's, but at the same time, many of us, many of us, really, thanks to the spiritual side, thanks to the will to stay home. And when I say stay home, just kind of acknowledging the environment that you come from, that you knew. Yeah, stay humble, right? Because what it's not just about you. It's not just about Vladimir McCrary. It's about also the neighborhood you come from, the people you grew up with. They they you're literally giving them hope in going out, and if they want to be an engineer somewhere, or they want to travel to this country, that place, to be, to study, they have that hope. They have that, like, well, you know what, Vladimir McCrary did it, so and so did it, so we came from an era where responsibility wasn't just for you. It was also, you have to say, how do I want to go out? Because if I take my life, if I take my life right now, if I take my life right now, people are going to suffer. If I go down this road right now, a lot of people are going to suffer. My generation, my legacy is going to suffer. You know what I mean? Am I gonna take this needle right now and shoot that thing up my veins? Am I? Because trust me, there was a lot of these temptations, and we came from an era where it was unsolicited. It's not like the film industry, the sports industry, where you have arbitration, you have unions, you have this, you have that. You come from an era where there was no unions, still no unions for us in the fashion industry. So there's nobody to protect you. There's none of these entities, unless you came from a very, very strong network of family who kept an eye on you, people who watched you, like security, really. And the kind of security I'm talking about is spiritual security, where people say, man, yo, you come to pray tonight, or you come to meditation tonight, you come in practicing tonight. You understand where I'm coming from? Unless you're around very solid friends, you easily went down that road. So, and I have to say to you, yes, for you, your height, the place you were, um, I'll be honest with you, there were you were untouchable, and it wasn't you. It was as I'm gonna give it to you straight. You were untouchable. You were very
Man, stop,
guarded.
stop,
Yeah.
stop.
You were very guarded, but in that guardedness, I understand that loneliness, because you never showed us this. You never showed us this side, the struggles, the deep struggles you were going with, right? You didn't, because my heart was movies and television. So I was looking for an escape. It was a journey that by default just turned out the way it did for me. But deep down, oh no, I wanted this life that I'm in right now, meaning
But you know what?
family.
I didn't. I
Mm,
didn't. I didn't want this life. You know, man, when you're a shorter individual like yourself, you can hide. I can't. Never could. I never will be able to. And so I
the
walk down the
basketball
street,
player.
bro. When I walk down the street, and my youngest daughter is a meter 84. Okay, she's 15 years old, and I tell her, I said, my baby, people gonna look at you. Don't get involved with what they think about you. You stand up straight and you carry yourself right. Man, I used to get judged by so many people. That didn't bother me. But what that did was, it did the same as my life always was: alone. Alone. When you're good at something, you got those people, like you say, where we come from, our friends and family. But what happens when friends and family go against you? Oof. You see? And those types of things is what would push somebody to, you know, take matters into their own hands, so to speak. It made me angry. It did made me very alone. Um, but that loneliness made me angry. You see, because I always tell people this. I tell my daughters, when you get sad, God damn it, get angry. And use your sadness, use your anger to focus your mind to go and take the next step. Okay, you're sad, you're crying. Now okay, boom. Now you've cried. Now what you gonna do? What you gonna take that step forward? But a lot of people is not like that. You have people that don't know how to think that way. And Man, I suffered. We all have depression of some sort. We all get down. We all get into that dark way. See, I grew up, I grew up in that so-called darkness because there's so much light in that darkness. You know, there's so much light in the void, but people don't see that. People think when you're in the darkness, it's a scary place. It can be, but it's a place that will enlighten your mind if you let it. If you let
Yes.
it. And so,
And,
with this,
and
go ahead.
that being said, though, you you had a great relationship with John Paul Gaultier.
Mm, yeah.
A very a very what I would say, not a fake relationship you had with him. You had a
Nah.
very brotherly, what, because there was two men in this era, uh, and they still hold that reigns to this very day. They got the most beautiful perfume, and as well as men's cologne on the planet. John Paul Gaultier and Terry Mugler.
Right.
Right now, I could go in there. There's two colognes I still keep. I don't care
Yeah.
that I use, right. One of them is chocolate. It has that chocolate because I'm I'm a very strong individual. So I was always told by my female friends and sisters like, yo, bro, you're in Paris quite a bit. You should pick yourself up the chocolate one by Terra Mugler, and that's how it really hit home. And these were just normal people,
Right.
women who and men who just go every day to work of life. They're not in the media, but these are the spenders. These
Right.
are the one, and they would point over. And I remember one time they point over, and they say, the one your brother over there, you see him with a fire in his head, because you did the campaign with the Terrible Glade campaign with a fire. Remember that whole thing you did with the
Yeah.
fire? Do you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that? Right. That they and so that for our community and people in our world, and I'm talking about the millions, because you know where we come from,
Yeah.
people spend money,
Yeah,
right?
man.
So us in the fashion industry, we couldn't complain because they go, man, shut up. Because all they know is I just bought a cologne the other day because I saw your friend.
Right. Right. Right.
So you're not trying to. So we always had to. We were very mindful what we said.
Yeah.
We would always like everything was great. Everything is great because financially we were working on in a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
So for you, it to us, the media, the way it portrayed you at that time was always like, wow, success. This is beautiful. Love it. Opulent. Because there was a lot of money being spent on advertising at that time. It's
Man.
not like now where you could just go on social media and do one of these.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm
You,
sorry.
you understand? So what was that relationship like? That
Man,
symbiotic
that
relationship?
for me was let me tell you this along those lines.
Yeah.
I worked for a lot of major, of course, as you know, major designers that would use my image and I wouldn't even know about it. They would use my image for fragrance. They would use my image for eyewear. They would use my image for whatever, and I didn't get paid. So I mean, like I said, that's the flip side to being a supermodel or icon model, whatever person wants to put on that. To be a successful model or actor or musician, singer, whatever the case, you're going to be used and you're not going to be paid for it. Now, but let me tell you something, man. What used to touch me and still does is when I get up in the morning and I look on my Instagram and there'll be a young kid or another professional that said, but Vladimir, I just want to say, Mr. McCrary. First of all, that's funny. I said, my dad's Mr. McCrary. Didn't call me Vladimir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your poetry. Thank you so much for how you did it. Thank you. And we respect you. My community respects you and we love you. And what are you going to do next? And I tell people, when people have you blocked in your mind with this particular look or this particular thing, what do you do next? So that's important. I've always been a writer. I've written in poetry and stuff like that since I was young. So that was my out. And not to mention Bok's Thai for many years, jujitsu for many years, and just an athlete. Just having the, I needed that pain, and that pain for me, you can attest, Ralph can attest. That pain is getting elbow in the mouth. That pain is getting choked for a moment and get out of it. I love to play chess, so that was my way to get there. But fashion was something soft. Fashion was something sweet. I needed that grind. I needed to feel that because when I started playing basketball, I needed that edge. I needed to feel that roughness. So it's important that you have to have that happy medium. But man, just that people recognize and would remember, and not just that, is say, hey, my touch to their life. That's what touched my heart the most. Thank you for what you did, and I appreciate
Yes.
that.
And did the likes of Terry Mowgli, sorry, not, we're going to go into Terry Mowgli in a
Go
minute,
ahead.
but did the likes of Jean Paul Gaultier, did you guys ever had that one significant conversation? Did he ever really get into where you come from, where we come from, that street? Did he understand what your value was in those moments?
Terry was and was very good at.
No, this is John Paul Gaultier now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
This is
sorry.
John
So
Paul.
John
Yeah,
Paul,
yeah,
my fault. John
yeah.
Paul was very good, and that's what made John Paul who he was. Is John Paul was very good at taking people, normal people, off the street and letting that person come in and rock it how they rocked it, live it how they lived it. That's what I loved about him. He wasn't trying to tell you how to walk and do it. Just walk normal. Be you. That's what I loved about him. The first time I did a big show for him, the second time, excuse me, I said, John Paul. He goes, Vladimir. He goes, I love you. I said, I love you too, brother. I love you too. He goes, I said, how do you want me to? Because me as a professional, I'm going to get mine. Okay, I'm going to get mine simply by showing my face. But I wanted to make sure to honor my professional contract. How would you like for me to show this particular jacket? How would you? And I would always try to ask a little bit of the pieces of how do you want me to promote? Should I turn this way to make it show the people how the material moves, or whatever the case? And so he appreciated stuff like that. And those, like I say again, those bits and pieces of the individual is what really makes a person stand out. You,
Yeah, it's the collaboration. You guys
absolutely,
collaborated. Yeah.
you,
And,
you. When
and
I
not,
look
you're
at
not just feeling like a hanger.
right, when I look at you, Oris, when I look at your work, I look at how you and people that don't know, they won't know, but I look at how you play the angles. I look at how you kind of like move to certain. That has to be there. That's why you laughing. See, I know. And people not from our world don't
Mm.
understand that shit is difficult. It's not easy because we are in tuned. I used to go into the studio when I did a job, and I would pull to the side the photographer, the creative director, and the designer. And I asked the creative director, the designer first, how do you want me to show this piece? I asked the creative director, what angles would, because I wanted everybody to get pieces for their book. For the photographer, okay, after we shoot the job, now we got a couple more rolls. Back then we had rolls of film. It's not just how it is today. What do you want to do? After we did, I would go to the people that I was working for and said, hey, we good? You got everything you need? Cool, boom. I would go and change. Now me and the photographer would get something for his book, and I got something for my book. I think, come on, I think that's the way. Me, you, that's the
Yeah.
professional way to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody walks away happy.
Yes, and it's funny the amount of coffee table books you have, even myself, and or I always laugh and go because that's where do you think that mentality that hustle and motivate? I mean, we hear it in songs, hustle and motivate, but to be fair, hustle and motivate is something that you're born with. Where do you think that mentality comes from? That when we work for these people we always thought about them. Yes, the corporation wants this, but I know you want this. And I know you as well. Where do you think that came from? Because that always helped us later
Right.
on.
That's a very good
These
question.
people,
Very good
yeah,
question. For me, um, at the end of the day, and let me touch on one thing. When you talked about unions, uh, my career was almost cut short because I was the only person that I know of trying to create a fashion union, and agencies did not want that because what that would have done was cut into people's money and their cut, and they didn't want that. And I used to tell these young models and young men and women, get your business card because when you go meet that client, you're representing the agency. But when the agency kicks you out, you're representing yourself. So you need to always be, excuse me, you need to always understand one thing. You are what I call, and you could put that in parentheses, a
yeah.
satellite creative. You're a
Do,
satellite creative.
do you know also? And I'm so glad you said this. It was like yourself and myself. When I finished from the agency route, and some of the agencies were shut down, of course, financial reasons. Times changed, the war in Iraq, that whole thing came in, and war affects things. A lot of clients, when I was working along the way, most of my money in the fashion actually came outside the fashion industry because clients took my numbers and we started to make deals. So I would book jobs sometimes, even to this day. I would have clients fly me and my family for 2 weeks for a whole suit, catalog suit. From years ago, we still have this relationship, and I'm so fortunate for that. And it was by default because the reason I'm bringing this up, um, it's very important, as you say, to honor your contract and be respectful because that goes a long way. Because to this day, I don't have to go through most people to work for these guys. These people, they know my family, they know my kids. They're very respectful. When they point that camera, they don't even try to point the camera to my children or my family. They just so I'm very and I say, is that the case for you now, where you working for people still outside the industry that say, hey man, I got this, I got 5 days for you here, 5 days for you, bill me. You become your own business person
You
now.
have to, and I was back then. I mean,
Yeah.
I got paid on, I got paid in contract, but I also got paid in the black. I don't like that word "in the black." It makes it look like it's something dirty. But it was important. Back to what I was saying before, you know, I, we represent ourselves. Like I say, when we were on contract working with whatever job, at the end of the day, I used to say, "Hey, listen, oh, Vlad, you're Gautier model." I said, "No." One person said Gautier made him. I made me. Gautier gave me an opportunity to wear his clothing, to represent and speak for him, extended. But at the end of the day, it was Vladimir doing these things. So that was important. And I said that, I say that now very humbly. I love working with Jean Paul. I love working with Terry. I love doing a few shoots with Lagerfeld. Rest in peace. Bless you. I love doing these things that created something that my daughters crack me up. Bless you. Bless you. My daughters come home from school now and say, "Hey, Daddy, we were just looking at your Google." She told me, she goes, "Dad, my friends think you're sexy." I said, "Hey,
Oh,
what?" I
bless.
said, "Wait a minute, no, bless." I said, "You 14." I said, "You 14 years old. What you know about
Oh,
sexy?" It was
because I
funny.
say that because I get the same thing.
Yeah.
But let's stay on track because I feel like this is one of those things where I get the feeling from the bottom of my heart that we're going to be working on this for a very long time, for many years to come, and and just it's amazing how it's all come full circle in a very positive way, and we could finally, one of the things I like about this, Oris Sanctionary, it's a play, it's a healing ground, not for us, but for many other people to breathe if they're able to get a whiff of, even if it's 3 minutes of this show. I'm grateful that they touch. It's therapy because there's so much going on in the world. So if we can contribute from our light and dark and side of life that people may have gone, now they go, wow, it's the same everywhere, you know. Lawyers who graduated from the highest with the highest distinction can't even get into a law firm to practice their law because there's too many of them, right? So it's amazing that the world has become so super saturated. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
very good word.
Now,
That's true.
yeah,
No,
super
you're right.
saturated. Agencies have closed down. The agencies we knew back then, now it's not the same thing. Now, which brings me to this: how then you worked with Terry Mowgli. Of course, you went on to work with the likes of Karl Lagerfeld and man, you name it, all these people. But Terry Mowgli was another very influential, powerful, powerful purpose in your journey. How did that relationship? How did you establish? How did you walk into that kind of relationship with Terry Mowgli? Because he's a very private person. Terry's clothes spoke, right, through movies. He dressed a lot of people like a lot of the movies back then. Everything you wore before you knew it was in an upcoming movies, and we're gonna go into that. But how did that relationship with you and Terry Mowgli spark?